In this video, I want to discuss the use cases of how AI should and should not be used in the sales processes. I'll show you the post that was published on LinkedIn by a guy, and the post didn't really got viral. It has 67 comments, and I don't even know the guy. I only see that he is having some sort of a startup, or he's working for a startup that is having a product related to sales process automation. And what is interesting, the comment section gets bombarded here with the negative comments of people saying that this is basically the AI slop, and this is a silly post. Human SDRs doesn't sit there and take inbound and qualify. Very insulting to suggest that a human SDR will create a human-to-human conversations via outbound that actually build whatever. And essentially, people here are hating on the idea for the AI SDRs, and I thought to comment on that because here the guy is claiming that on one side you can pay $60,000 a year or more for the human sales development representative. On the other side, you're going to have AI that you're going to be paying a few $100s a month. It's going to do the same job, and it's going to save you the money. And I would say that people are arguing about wrong things. So first, the guys like me, look, I am a part of this culture because I'm also having a startup that is automating the appointment setting for the businesses, and we work with different types of the businesses, from the local to the agencies to the coaches, and I see a lot of different implementation use cases. So you can think that I am a part of this left spectrum that is saying that AI will replace everyone in sales. By the way, I am not, and I'm going to explain what I think are the best use cases for you to use or sell within your own business. But the other side are the guys who are saying, look, this is all the AI slop. The relationships are still needed. So AI is not there, and it will never be there because people would want to buy from people and not from the robots, which also kind of makes sense. And look, there is no right answer. I would say that my opinion is sitting somewhere in the middle from both of these spectrums, because again, going back to this post, this guy, I don't agree with the statement that he is making that, hey, it is so much easy for you to save, tens of thousands of dollars if you simply replicate your sales, development representatives or anyone in the sales department with the AI. And of course, I don't think that he actually believes that. Of course, he believes that the humans are still needed. But this is not necessarily to comment on the Lewis post, but rather on the general idea of people thinking that AI can replace a lot of the sales roles. And it can, but there are nuances. To figure it out, we need to understand what do the SDRs do in general. Look, SDRs, like what I learned in my short business experience of more than 7 years right now in the online space, working with the high ticket products, a lot of business owners and even the people in the management, in the ops, are classifying SDRs and BDRs differently. Generally speaking, because it is called sales development representative, we can think about it as a person who is responsible to develop a sale. But see, should we classify sending cold emails as the SDR role, or is it more of a marketing outbound role? And the SDRs are developing the replies that are getting received from the cold emails or the leads that are getting generated through the ads. This is a question that again can be answered differently, but let's generalize everything for the sake of this video. So SDRs, on one side, SDRs are just sending, cold emails. Then a better the SDRs that are doing more type of the things, they also engage and qualify the leads. So they do the outbound, they generate the demand, and they also do the engagement and qualification, probably the nurturing. Then the top of the top SDRs are running the entire top of the funnel. So the outreach, engagement, qualification, and nurturing, and possibly even following up with the leads through the closing. Again, it all depends on their organization. And you are thinking, and a lot of people are thinking, that you can just replace all of these things with an AI, or not just one AI agent. You can say, oh, the orchestration of the agents under the umbrella of the master agent, or whatever fuck people are calling it right now, and it's gonna do the job. But reality is that AI, like, genuinely speaking, it cannot do most things that are related to the processes that are happening after the demand was generated. Because surely you can automate the email sending, right, by the softwares. But again, there are companies who are still building the cold email engines with Instantly and Smart Lead for the businesses, usually the old school guys, wholesale, manufacturing, that are getting stuck in this, mentality of sending the emails in bulk from, your main domain. Sure, they can be taught, these principles, and you can build this infrastructure, but as you should know, it's becoming harder and harder because they are getting more and more advanced. But this can be done with AI. But think about it this way. You still need to have a human who is going to be creating the campaign. Because one out of probably 50 campaigns that I have seen that AI fully generated was good enough to generate the actual demand. Okay? So human part is kind of still needed. Engagement, qualification, nurturing, this is yes. So this middle of the funnel, which is essentially the setting, what we call, this can definitely be automated. Here, this person is saying that he has a hard time understanding how AI will be able to qualify a lead. I am not agreeing with this statement because, again, this is, my actual business. We're having the AI setters, and in my videos, I show the real examples of the businesses using our setters who are qualifying and nurturing all the leads that they're getting. Again, it all depends on the type of the business, but generally speaking, this part can be automated. But again, the orchestration of the entire funnel and the creation, like, still requires a human attention. Okay, I think we are on the same page. So you can use AI and you should use AI, and there are great use cases for the, for the different parts, but the human is still needed. So you still need to pay someone to do the job. So in a nutshell, what we're looking at is AI can automate the processes in bulk, like sending thousands of personalized cold emails at scale, so the human is not needed here. It can possibly nurture, qualify, and book them in. Again, depends on the product. But trying to use it for the closing doesn't make sense. And I would even say more if you're selling, a higher ticket items, the nurturing qualification process is different. Okay, so it's not about the ability of AI to provide the good information, but rather this all about the relationships that needs to be built to convince a business to buy your $50,000 package. And basically the reality is that companies think that they're going to be saving the money, but in reality, they're going to miss a lot of other things that needs to be done to grow the business. So you're going to sit with the $70, $80, $100,000 saved, but your business being burned to the ground because you're going to think that it is fine, but it's not actually fine because there are a lot of other parts that needs to be done besides sending the outreach and following the sequence. And you can say, wow, Eugene, okay, so are you saying that we should not use AI, or AI should only be used for the scaled up repetitive work like sending cold emails. No, I'm not saying that. What I do say is that this is like a paradox of the businesses that are trying to use AI. They essentially think that they're gonna look like this, but in reality, this is what is happening. But the guys that are thinking the same way as the guys in the comment section of the Lewis post are not gonna be using AI at all, or will use it for only sending cold emails, are missing on the biggest opportunity in sales when it comes to AI implementation. And essentially, this is everything that the current people are not doing, or it's not efficient for them to do. So let me put it simply. Let's say your sales guy is sending cold emails. He's currently doing that. He's doing a qualification, nurturing, engagement, booking, and then transfer to the closing. Can you replace him with AI? Probably not, but you can AI enable him to do the job more efficiently if we're not talking about saving the cost, and it's gonna work. But this requires more work compared to letting AI do something that this salesperson is not gonna do because he doesn't have time. For example, reactivating dormant customers, following up with every lead on a specific schedule, even this. And you think, yeah, shouldn't it be the job of the like SDR, like a salesperson, to follow up? Yeah, sure. But they don't do this shit because they focus on the new leads that come in instead of working on the right track with the leads that they already have, okay? And then like personalized review requests, calling every webinar registration if you're running a webinar, or engaging with each and every reply in a way to understand if they're not interested why, and maybe offer an alternative, or at least keep their contact in your CRM to then follow up in 6 to 12 months. So all of these things are not done currently by any sales team because these are low ROI inputs. So if you think about this, if you're paying this SDR, let's say 80K a year, okay, you would want him to focus on the activities that would have the highest return on investment, which are usually getting the new leads and working with the leads that are currently in the pipeline active. But you would want to also do that because you've already invested the money to acquire the leads in the first place. So you would want to get something back, as a review, as a feedback, as a reactivation, as another booking, as an additional show up for the webinar. So it all depends. But you cannot really pay the same salary to the guy to do that because it's not gonna generate as much money as working with new leads, okay? This is where AI comes in. So essentially what I'm saying, if you can make the use case within your business or within the business of your clients where AI can do the job that your current sales team doesn't do, this is a perfect scenario because you don't replace these guys. You're gonna increase your return on ad spend by closing more leads, by getting more out of the leads that you already have and not touching the existing team to not break anything. So there is 4 levels to this shit. The first one is, I'm gonna replace our SDR department with AI and save $75,000 per employee. Or an opposite spectrum of like, AI can't do shit, so we're not gonna even think about using AI in sales. The second tier is like, okay, so fire the SDR and replace it with the cheapest tool. Try to think that this is gonna work. The level number 3, this is where the majority of the people are at, who are actively researching the space, watching the channels like mine, and trying to like figure it out and be smart about it. So they keep their, SDRs, they add AI to do the task that they currently do to sales AI enable them. But what I am suggesting you is to be the 4th guy who's gonna keep the SDRs, Sales enable them with AI, of course, and also add AI, whatever you call it, AI agents, BDRs, setters, whatever, that are gonna be doing the tasks that are lower ROI for your human SDRs to do. So pay for it like a few $100s a month and just generate an additional revenue without breaking anything within the organization. I'm just giving you this 4 examples as a reference. On this YouTube channel, I've been posting the different use cases for different businesses and different niches, but just so that you understand the possibilities. Like dormant leads. AI calls everyone who ghosted you or tags them and reactivates. No one does it. No $80,000 a year SDR is going to be calling and contacting the old leads. They'd better contact the new leads that they can make more from. Review requests for local businesses. Not the automated like, hey, can you please post a review, but rather like, hey, how was the service? Awesome. Are you okay with posting a review? Can you share it with your friends? So conversational manner from the business owner perspective to get the higher review to submission percentage. Then 24/7 responses to never lose a lead in case you're generating a lot and your setters are just not able to call all of them at once. Or as we are using it, webinar follow-ups. So every time someone follows up, sign up for the webinar, AI calls and tags them to nurture, pre-qualify, and engage. And we don't really care if they understand that it's AI or not. This is an additional point of contact to increase the show-up rate, to increase the return on ad spend that we are, doing to generate the signups for the live selling event. And there are much more use cases when it comes to the AI in the processes that are not done by the human SDRs. If you're interested, let me know in the comments if you want me to break any of this down, but I have more videos about this topic. Thanks for watching. Peace.